For now, as of this time, as in front of Gelson's place, they start throwing torture drugs. There were no torture drugs in the air so far. As of now, they, instead of the other ones, are throwing torture drugs. By the way, you see two things in this: not only the mental state that caused by the drugs, but the casual tone in which the drugs are used, which emphasizes the other thing. As if I'm talking to a wall, which is the important point. They are listening to what I'm saying, they react to the things that I say, and yet they continue throwing the drugs as if it is just a casual thing you do, which is all the things they establish in video, and now we can see on fire. Now they think there'll be no consequences for that because they're in this franchise right now, and that's precisely the point. That's what I've been talking about for years. That's how this crime has been going on for 3.5 years. There, over there, is a stalker. I don't know if you can see it. It's right there. There. Okay. So I have the ones passing by, and if I talk about the ones stalking me, as I said, gas station Paradão is one of the primary spots that those stalkers often go to, which they even see that as a good thing because they're pointing there for other stalkers, which means that they will be very welcoming to newcomers. Back in the day, it was concerned. Even today, you notice leftovers of this. Me measuring every word and thinking carefully everything that I say, not to be mischaracterized. And as I said, the reality is quite simple. Those crimes are self-evidently wrong. They are crimes. Like they're self-evidently what they are. There's very little in the works of debate or doubt about this. They are systematically listening to what I'm saying and throwing drugs in the air to match while just pretending that it's funny to ignore the extreme abuses they do to me. Which they're only doing because so far I didn't have no consequences. And that's the point. Again, don't polish myself to words anymore that they're not even supposed to hear. Rather than say that to a judge, to a court, even if it's a court of public opinion. Well, power to them. Let's see if it's going to play out. But I'm just saying, for all the faces you see, all those faces that are right here now on YouTube on this file, all those faces in the mall, what kind of crimes would they be expecting? Because this is trivial, right? What I'm saying is obvious. You cannot do crime, you cannot actually throw this amount of drugs on people and hope to get away. You have those things, people just casually treating this as if some sort of TV show or some sort of planned thing. That's my point. Crime is specific by day, criminals pointed by face, crime is being very clearly pointed out. And they clearly responding to that. That's all. The case is being built up slowly, but it's being built up. I propose to you quite simply, they clearly have access to that. All the faces do. What kind of crimes do those very, under many codes, nice people expect to be done against me to keep them safe from consequence for their crimes? And if you say, well, what is a crime? So at the end of the day, they will be accused of being aware of this, and not only they're not passive. Again, those in a coffers. Plain and simple. None of the ones you see in this video are coffers. Just a second. It's the best I can come up with. My brain's in a good place, as you just witnessed. I'm using 4G, I don't have to stay. In those videos, the ones from yesterday, you have very clear explanations to how things happen and how things go in detail, stories and everything else. The public videos on YouTube. All the criminals will be aware of the rest. As you see them quoting in minutiae detail. People who don't know what they're talking about, you're not able to quote things in minutiae detail that they don't know what's being talked about. They're simply not. But as we've been seeing on those police videos there, funny enough, criminals likely recommend. Beautiful. That's exactly what you're here to film. As you've been seeing on those videos there, that have been the cop videos we've seen these days, I do know nothing is a common line for criminals, right? Suppose that once you can throw the limb on someone else, saying I don't know anything also helps out. Not helps out, it's also one of the common tropes. Didn't do no nothing. Oh, that was entering the bus. Yes, property that is 51. That. Yes, to reload. Again, it's not even have a VPN anymore. It's just the raw internet. Don't know what he's checking about. But you know what? I'm happy to see the check in front of it. Presumably playing it, imagine to see if there's no any illegal material or anything else. And that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. That's exactly why I'm going through all of this. I mean, you stand to believe you never see those illegal things in YouTube. You see them elsewhere. YouTube, the best thing you see is copyrighted material, but even then. And how that's supposed to be. Well, let's just say that they find something, that they don't find something, that they're probably going to keep some logs to make sure that things are fine. Those logs are what I mean. Those logs are the reason. Videos get scrutinized on an individual basis. You cannot just make them disappear and go home, which is my point. Again, it keeps it safe. Even if the materials itself are still not 100% guarantee. As I said, we compromise with what we can. It's not like I'm not doing all the care that I do normally. The only reason I'm uploading all this is, quite honestly, because the best thing I can do right now. You see, they're using drugs on me. The sun now is occluded, and that's I'm able to take some distance from the building. But before, it was blasting on me, and the place is completely covered in drugs. So the fact that the sun on my skin is start toasting, and again. Also realize something. I want to substantiate some evidence. If, again, drugs are thrown on me there's a bunch of, I'm going to show something for you on a map. It has to do with the river place, the river backup place. Upload the train show, 52. And that's the point. That's why you're there, by the way. If you wanna know, that's what that. That's it. I think I uploaded the 251, didn't I? That's why you're there. As I said, those cognitive things are difficult to catch by themselves. By the way, look how about the recharge is fast now. It wasn't charging before. No clue, we restarted the phone. The phone, for you to have an idea, it's not past that, it's already at 1 ball only on the power bank. You got that now, so you're good, but nonetheless. AOZ 564. Black sedan. Again, the amount of time it takes. For this, I would need this properly connected, unfortunately. again, how much do you think it requires of memory on this? Another thing, those minor phone things, that in general you just get an average response of the phone needed the memory to buffer or whatever. But right now, how much memory do you think requires on a file thing that had been opened less than 1 minute ago? They disconnected the VPN, as if you noticed. There you go. Fully capable, fully working. They just chose to disconnect that by itself. Again, this is what I am. Yeah, by the way, if you don't know how distractions happen, they happen through all those means. So you see all the tools that the criminals do. All of a sudden, those videos are very crucial. Those are getting updated now, uploaded now. Those screen recorders as public videos. There's absolutely nothing there that would make me not want to publish that as public. There's the place where I am, and that's right now where someone just disconnected the VPN on my phone as probably an attempt to distract me. And that's how not so much that mistake. That thing I said categorically. It wasn't me. This one, I don't know. That's 153. We'll get to that point. You have to do this again on each file. That's why I was picking up dates further down. I'm gonna finish this one here, but yeah, for the other ones I'm gonna pick dates a bit longer. So I'm always gonna end up in the next month. Just in advance. Don't know which location to put, to be honest, so just generalize. As long as I can get here, it's easy. This is here already, right? Yeah, it is. Next time when we go to a couple of the backup places, we're gonna do a more active collection of the drugs in the air. Leave it in place as samples because we want to make sure that stays in file. I want to showcase to the world what they're doing, particularly what happens in the place in particular. It's nice to already have the custody of evidence done from the thing collected on the spot, about what was in the air on the spot. It just adds up nicely. It's just the much better way. And I'm talking about places even public places like the River Place or other ones, because also helps to substantiate a couple evidences. I mentioned something about the fishermen that fishing something other than fish, even more so than fish. Things like that substantiate those things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I even had the idea to kind of keep copy pasting, but you saw how it took three tries to get it to work. And I'll be having that when the time comes. Not really, it defeats the whole purpose. Oh yeah, by the way, simple way to bypass the interferences with the things. I was the only one I left here. Look at this here. It was like this. No, what wasn't popped, I'm much better. By the way, categorically, don't have a shadow of a doubt. A, that the vehicle is moving backwards because of me, and B, those crimes that they do here. But you have an idea, being this rush, that's another side effect of the torture drugs that they use. I've been in this rush since yesterday, the torture day, and I haven't been able to calm down as of yet. So that's one of the intentions, one of the intended effects. So right now when I think something about having lunch, I didn't get to have lunch yet. And it is, you got to see the time there, 4:55. You know I didn't have lunch? Because I hadn't stopped in my brain, because of the systematic release of torture drugs sporadically as well as other things. I didn't have time. No, the torture drugs happen there. That's not the point. The point is that there are other drugs that have been doing systematically. The heat shot drugs and the other drugs. Okay. By the way, that was the vehicle moving backwards as I was leaving, and I don't, again, what's you up, take a look. And that's my point, you know? Everything very specifically. And for what it's worth, just right there. Right now, breeze of fresh air. This place here right now is the first time I'm feeling actually fresh air walking around. No, it's not. That's a lie. There was a couple other times when it happens. It lasts for a couple seconds before they readjust the drugs, or for the drugs elsewhere. So, right now, when I left before, there were drugs in the air here. When coming back, they're not yet. It's very likely they're gonna release now. Okay? Now, is that the case? Is that just resigning effect? It goes up and down, it goes up and down. I honestly don't know. Okay? I can only comment on things that I understand. I'm telling you the best way I can describe. I turn the corner, I feel this. There's no reason why the wind blowing here will be fresher and more, nice now. Hey, baby. Hello. Anyways, before. I'm such a nice. What else we do? By the way, there was a reason for the dude to go there. It was the fuck off truck parked in front. He was there checking if he wanted to come in or something. When there is no reason for them to do that shit, I'm the first one to let you know. But this case was more sensible. Decide to assume that everything is fine until otherwise, right? And the simple logic, it's good to have a watch overnight there, because it means that I'm safer, right? If there was something to happen here, it likely would do something. Now, I know it sounds like a joke, but the thing is, we take things face value until we've proven otherwise. Again, it's just simple how law and everything else works. Try to switch to 4G to the Wi-Fi there. We know the Wi-Fi won't work, but again, the Lord saw in good measure to eat the food away. Baby, you've been eating the entire day. You are chunky now. Let her be chunky a little bit. Baby, you've been eating it. She's gonna fight you. Honestly, I'm gonna never fight you because I am. Thank you so much. You've been eating the entire day, baby. She didn't eat anything yet. Let her eat. baby. You wanna eat the baby, we eat the baby. But I'm not giving food at that. So you can let it fly away again. It's too much money. Enough is enough. I honestly don't remember which one is which anymore. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What this is supposed to mean there. No, this is supposed to mean. In my opinion. Oh yeah, dot drugs again. This time impression in my head coming from my left. Even the cats are feeling it. In my opinion, if you were gonna suggest a number and the number was 55, you next one would be 56. You should be. That's just them doing accessing the phone again. Which, as I said, is easy to overlook those minor things if you forget everything else. And it's easy because you notice that I focus on those things a bit overwhelmingly. Because what can I say about the drugs? They're throwing drugs in the air. They continue doing that, complete impunity as if it's nothing else. Everybody going in here can notice the drugs they're throwing in the air, and they still keep doing that with complete. That's already sad. I can keep repeating that every time, and I often do it repeat enough. So it's easy when my brain is just like, there's nothing I can do about that. My brain is focusing on the other things that they can do. So when they up to a platform that you don't have a way to filter through uploads, you just lash out at that. It's very clear the point of the drugs that they're throwing in the air. That is just a side thing. But you already know about the drugs. At any point I'm hiding, at any point I stop repeating all the time the things that they're throwing at me. That gets unlisted, and you remember that one. 6, 57. Imagine if that was a living thing, right? I mean, living things usually don't like to be eaten. You also let it fly away. Or then you eat either the thing from the ground, or you don't eat at all. But that's useful though. That's hella useful. See that? That bag over there rolling that way to the garbage space was here. That's the pathway of the wind. Very important. It was here, right there. You can see some of the leftovers from them. He let it fly because apparently those are the only cats in the world that wouldn't be able to hold prey. They'll just let it fly away. So, rolled. As soon as it reached the mainstream area there with the cobblestone, it just went right into out. So that's the pathway. Now that should help you out to calculate based on this and this. The fact that wind often blows into that at this hour and then it reverts, where the path goes. At night it reverses and goes from there to here. Same thing there. But the path now, when it's blowing that way, it comes out this way, and that's where I just felt the sting of the headache drugs. And as we know, because of the smell that they, instead of coming from the left, you're actually coming from the right, and exactly you see that truck there. Fantastic meal for someone that the guys were eating that day. I'm genuinely thankful. Next one was 57, right? Now because I pressed the button, yeah, I was just gonna say that it reset it and he didn't know it hit away. Fortunately, as unlisted is easier to find. Did I forget your name? So, for instance, the example of the heat drugs. I feel my back burning as if it was in the sun. I'm gonna show you how exposed it is to what in a second, as soon as this goes up. P58. Schedule. Don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be. Well, something else that got you witness that. It's pretty good. So, burning, especially. It literally feels a sensation as if I was in the sun. Like right now, you see the sun? The sun is actually behind the building for quite some time already, based on the time you can see on the screen. Shoulders all burning. Literally, the sensation I have is as if there was sun irradiating into me. So you think that when those are the same drugs that they use during the day. So you imagine that when it is actually plus the sun also irradiating on me for real this time, not whatever chemicals they throw in the air to cause sensation, it's quite unbearable. That's the thing that they're throwing right now in the air. Okay? Feels like this is being literally, a sensation I have right now is as if I was standing in the middle of the sun shirtless. And if you notice carefully today, there wasn't any time that was exposed for more than literally a couple minutes to the sun. All the times, from the front to here to over there under the tree. Normal mornings, actually, I get more irradiation from the sun than today. So nothing of that. That's the sensation. So if you don't know what the heat sensation is, which is fantastic, which is able to just provide me ways of explaining in very clear terms, it's quite literally like this. Standing in a place like this, protected from the sun for hours by now, that the sun has been not only blocked by the building, but occluded by the clouds. Sensation on my skin is as if I was being burned by the sun. I'm gonna try to sample that for you, but however, that's the time so fit for the truck to they stock a truck over there to move. No, 5 seconds early, no, which would be before I got up or stuff like that, or 15 seconds early, or less than a minute to shoot either side. Now, okay? You didn't receive anything, door didn't close, door didn't open, nothing happened. The time now is 5:08 and 49 seconds. You know, in a Sunday, by the way. 22nd of March. Okay. And I know you stay open because real quick I'm gonna sample this water. This water more I'll sample this air. The water is more for the cats than anything else. I'd love to throw that on me. But we're rationing it a little bit now. Also gonna see if I can put some of the bottles in. You also notice the videos are very small and they take a lot of handwork to do, which makes this very impractical to do on a daily basis. There is simply too many interferences, too many pauses, too many interruptions. The videos can barely get long enough to allow those things. Other than monitoring ones, you have like a handful, then like a dozen of those that last for more than a couple minutes. But the vast majority is just very small, which makes it virtually impractical to have any ability to do this in the long run, as in every day. It's too much. If you had, for instance, I could send Antonia and get her to do that for me. She does nothing all day. She does nothing all day. She could perfectly just keep doing. It's mostly menial work. I don't understand why there is no feature to do this automatically. When I say something like this, it sounds to me like the very basic of what a program can do and should do. But no, those are interesting era for sure. So, which one was the one? $137. Which one do you think has 137? This one? This one? Which number is that one? 58. I thought it's gonna reload everything again. 059. There you go. There you go. That was a 40-second video indeed. You saw how many seconds it took. It took almost 20% of that time just to load up. There you go. That's exactly what you should want. That's exactly what you should want. $4G, by the way, in full signal. And you know what the tower is? The tower is right over there. Where? Right there? I'm gonna show it to you. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's not loading. This is where the tower is. That's the phone tower right there. So that's the point. Seeing this, that's what I'm talking to you. You see the times when I keep telling you what's happening and I tell the stories, and it's easy to forget the sheer amount, how everything, the simplest tasks are difficult for me. Why is this thing not loading? When you see that you're actually able to see things through this walk around, it's easy to forget that they have a fucking full control over the phone. And the only reason why you see that is because they have such arrogance and such imbecile nature that they allow that somehow I can actually do this despite the control that they have on the phone. There you go. Push is good enough. No, it's not. There you go. It just won't load. Just won't load. Just won't load. It's the internet is working right here. But that's the internet working. Internet working. By the way, this is a special one. This video alongside the other one are all gonna be uploaded. They are happy because they think I'm gonna keep those videos on the phone. Those videos are gonna stay on the phone. But they always stay in a very special place. Can I cop? Excuse me? Enjoy what you're seeing. Just enjoy what you're seeing. That adds up. That adds up pretty good. Just enjoy what you're seeing. So I was gonna copy that, but it doesn't allow me to. All of this is them. All of this is them. The internet is easy enough to see when you can see the phone tower. Everything else is them. So just be fully aware of that one. Yeah, this is indeed a 000 video. That sounds super cool. Sounds super. That's what it is. It is indeed probably a 000 video. So let's upload the 000 video again. To make sure that it stays there. Now you're seeing that apparently the delay in the internet also affects the phone offline. Because after all, there's so much being transmitted out of the phone that it essentially becomes online. Also, just keep notice the permanent state of those arrows pointing up and down there. Never heard of that thing before, this whole shenanigan before. By the way, the other baby was here. Hey, baby. Got a cat. If I don't do this today, I will end up never doing it. So we're gonna give names for them. We're gonna pick up the list of names for cats, and we're going to also saw that there was no screen there on the screen, right? No screen there on the screen. There you go. It's uploaded already. It's interesting to know. I thought it was still right here. Again, this is all on the 4G. This is all with all the alls. All with the alls. And that's my point that I just mentioned before. Interesting. It's a bit difference, huh? By the way, another layer of the drugs. So, as I said, a sensational burning. Now, this is the more psychological effect of things. That's quite literally right now. All the alls. That was 52, right? Let your witness there. No rolling. ball there for a couple more seconds. No interference needed. Check out that ball rolling. That's why this thing is being recorded. And as I said, like all of this, those are going to YouTube. This one and the previous screen recording, both going to YouTube. They're going to be their own special name. They're going to be very unique and very detachable. Very easy to see. So at this point, as of right now, as of right here, they are throwing massive loads of not torture drugs, but the other drugs. So I feel very uncomfortable and agitated, completely unable to stop and think on anything. I think that's the mentality I've been having all day. Just like drugs, right? So as I said, tell me that this whole persona, this whole idea that I'm going through right now doesn't feel like an addict. There you go. So when I say narcotics, that's why. How many things were we able to explain between yesterday and today when I said that's why I say this? Because they really think that when I say those crazy accusations, they're gonna put their hands on their hips and be like, ha ha. So, that's why narcotics. Those are narcotics. They are being used on me and being released in small amounts. Which makes sense because those things are usually expensive and you don't want to release them in just non-stop. They don't release them non-stop. They release them in small amounts, in small butts that go through the air. Who is doing it? Most likely the dude on the truck. As I pointed out, most likely. Doesn't mean 100% that the one, but we know that things come from there. I felt here, between here and there. We know that because he was cooking that the other day, and I referenced that to you. Now, I don't know why he was doing that. They can clearly come here, as you saw him passing by back and forth. So if you just want to know, they could have done that and tested themselves. That wasn't for that sake. That was also not for the sake of cooking, because if you're cooking something, you'll be cooking there necessarily. I'll tell you the bulk of it later, but suffice to say, cats poop, and by then, I'm not diving too much on the things. They eat whatever they feel that this smells more pleasant. But the thing is, suffice to say, that's a pretty solid reason, and perhaps a bit squishy, but when we calm down, the time comes. So, as I said, I think the point was for me to mention that here. So, congrats on that. Not to quote a legend, but on that we agree. I indeed believe it is in my best interest to quote that, and it does indeed prove a point. And that point is proven. So, yeah, here comes the word again. Remember when I say that they do those crimes in plain daylight with complete disregard for the law? As I said before as well. When it goes down to things like throwing drugs in here, etc., yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Okay? So, I'm gonna make a day or two. Now, don't get me wrong. Today is this guy. Different drugs coming from that direction on that place since May of 2025, at least, because some of my cat was stolen. But by then, I was already going to the back. I arrived here watching early March. Remember, there was even Cat with a K that came first. Then the other cats. As a matter of fact, good chance stands that this cat, instead of my cat, is actually Cat with a K, which I also met as a kitten, and it might also be the baby of Mama Cat, which was always a theory I had. Again, Mama Cat stopped being called Mama Cat for a long reason, and that would be the third litter. So, 3 litters is a pretty good solid reason for just stop being called Mama Cat, or, So, one thing for sure, they're all from different litters. That much is for granted. Cat with a K, if it is indeed this cat, would have been for the first one that I know of. After that, you would have my cat's litter and her sister, or brother. I always assumed that the black one was a brother. I don't know why. That's actually one of the reasons I was tempted to say that this one is a male, even though I don't have any basis for that. I'm very confident now it's a female. I'm quite sure I got a pretty good look today. When it was upside down with the legs open. Hey baby, you're gonna let the fly eat your food? The fly eat your food, come on. Yeah. So, Now we're using the screen recorder rather than the thing. Oh yeah, by the way, another final reference to you. That fly. This is dry food. The dry food is not tracking the fly. I can't show you this much. My track ants, but it's not trying to fly. And not only this is dry food that was just removed from the pot. So it's not even like it was open here and some water fell on it or humidity in the air. This is dry food. They're actually dry. Hey, are you catch okay? Such a city. Hey, baby. You're funny.